So welcome guys, and welcome to the SCPH Quarantine Tournament, and as you saw, we are gonna have our round 1 matchup between ViRaOne, who is a Zerg, versus Fiery, who is a Protoss, and joining me for this first match is gonna be a duo as well. So technically a TriCast right now. I feel like I'm the third wheel here. Maybe I should just shut up and let them cast, but hey, it's Raigekisai and Stalecookie. How are you guys doing for today?
Doing
Hi, good
well.
afternoon. We're good.
Hey guys.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Raigekisai as well as Stalecookie as we get into this first upcoming matchup. So, I do want to ask you guys, hey, so is this your first time casting?
Yep.
Yep, first time for the both of us.
That's right, that's great to hear. So, I want to ask you also, is why would you want to cast? Like, what's your story, especially casting StarCraft? Like, what have you guys been up to in terms of the game?
Well, I think I'm not good enough of a player, but I am very knowledgeable about the game. So, and in fairness, I'm actually inspired by you, Dax. Like, you cast really good. So,
That warms my heart, man. That warms my heart. How about you, Stale? You've
no
been a
homo.
very big supporter of these tournaments, to say the least, and I'm glad you're here too. So what's up? How about you?
Actually, I was just dragged here. I'm pretty shy, so I'm not really sure what I'm doing here, but well, yeah, to support the game and all.
That's exactly what we want to do. Show some love for the community, and we are going to be getting into our first matchup in just a bit. But as a tradition here in the SCPH Quarantine Tournament, we're going to be showing you the maps for this upcoming best of 3. First thing first, we got Everdream as our first pick, Zen LA for our second, and Purity and Industry to round things off on the third. So bans are going to be Golden Wall, Nightshade, Eternal Empire, as well as Simulacrum. And I just want to say, guys, I'm really happy that we are back on StarCraft 2 because that we can actually do these games live over having to, wait for things to finish and, proper netcode and all of that jazz. But Raigeki as well as Stale, what do you guys think about the map picks going on, especially as this is going to be an upcoming Zerg versus Protoss matchup?
Well, I expect a really short game. This is a pretty easy map, to be honest, and I think there's requires a little bit, not much skill, in my opinion.
And then I think there will be a lot of harassment that will happen here.
It's true, it's true. It really has to be that Zerg looking for opportunities, while the Protoss will might want to hunker up in from time to time. But I would not be surprised to really see any kind of proxy play here, especially both on Everdream as well as Zen. Everdream, you can really hide those buildings on the corners as well as on top of those ramps. Zen is a smaller kind of affair. It is a lot more obvious, but at the same time, aggression might be key. Purity Industry, though, might be a little different. You got those slow fields, but it does make you want to play the air. And love to see some standard play here and now to start things off, but hey, cheese can always happen at the same time. And well, into this upcoming matchup, we got ViRaOne returning basically from last week. He joined the Broodwar tournament, and it was his first time. He was able to try the game out and really figure things out along the way, but still couldn't stand against the veterans of the scene. But hey, we're back onto StarCraft 2, and if I remember correctly, he's around Plat versus Fiery, who is around Diamond instead. So around 600 MMR difference. What do you guys think about something like that? Is it going to be a factor coming into this game?
Well, the ranks aren't really that far apart, so I guess it would really depend on what strategy they're gonna do. As for Zerg, I expect a lot since you know.
True, that's true. How about you, Stale?
Well, I'm a Protoss player, but I think I'm gonna root for the Zerg player here. I'm gonna root for Fiery.
I really can't wait what these two have to bring. So we're just talking about with these two guys just real quick, and hopefully everything is gonna be okay, especially with in terms of their connections, because it's a lot difficult honestly during this quarantine. Have you guys been experiencing like connection issues and the like in anything you guys do?
Well, we're pretty blessed that we only had like 2 instances that we had issues with our provider. But I've heard from my friends that they were all swearing because of their providers. They're pretty, shitty.
It's just hard. It really is a little bit difficult to really get things done. And well, at least we have a proper connection. I have had to restart the moment a few times, just, bring in the command prompt, open things up, and be like, I'm a hacker man here, trying to fix things up. But hey, enough about all this chat, as we are looking to get into the game in just a bit. Seems like our two players are ready to go, and as we said before, we are going to be starting things off on Everdream. You can always go, Mr. Mizzo. It's time to get things started here in the SCPH Quarantine Tournament. Game number 1 is afoot. I really can't wait to see what these players do bring to the table. A PvZ matchup, gonna be a good way to see who really is gonna be able to play that macro, that micro, and a pretty indicative way to start the day. Everdream LE though, Rams abound. Pretty standard map, very easy to wall on in, so we'll see potentially the Zerg doing something of a aggressive attack versus a wall set up by the Protoss. And I can't wait to see, units like the Banelings, units like the Roaches, units like the Adepts, just come back into the more modern era. So, StarCraft 2, even though there have been a bunch of things that have been shut down, well, at least we still have GSL right now going on, and at least we have the SCPH Quarantine series. But enough about that, let's get into the action, into the fun, into the fray, and let's get into Everdream LE. So welcome, welcome, welcome. It's been a while, ladies and gentlemen, but we are back in StarCraft 2. And well, it feels like homecoming here and now for all our participants as well as me. Hey, at least everything is modern, everything looks fine and dandy, and even though StarCraft 1 is absolutely beautiful, StarCraft 2 still feels pretty new in a sense. But introducing first, on the top right of Everdream LE, we got the blue Zerg, that is ViRaOne. And his opponents, on the bottom left, on the pink Protoss. I love the color scheme already at the very start. It's been a hot day, every single day. Summer is here, and it really needs to be your fans getting the cooling on. Hopefully my laptop can survive every single bit of production over the past few weeks as well as the upcoming weeks. But anyway, back to our player. It's our pink Protoss, Fiery. So yeah guys, PvZ, what's the plan here?
Well, for this map, for Everdream, I think there are a lot of choke points here, and once harassment goes in, you're just gonna get stuck in your natural, probably.
Yeah, I feel like for Fiery, it really will be a natural kind of thing, and they are gonna go for bases immediately. Damn, this feels so fast. Like, Mizzle, if you're there, it's just like, it feels so fast to go back to StarCraft 2, but already a hatchery first there from ViRaOne. In the meantime, Fiery gonna be going for that Nexus as well as his natural setup with the Gateway as well as the Cyber Core. And still, what do you think? As you said, you were rooting for the Protoss, I believe, and as a Protoss player, what is the plan in a setup like this?
Oh, I think she went out, but
okay, go ahead, man. Go ahead, Raigeki. You got me. You can kill all the opponents on the other side of the board, but you can always kill some time as well, telling you what's going on.
Okay, we see here a very fast Zerg rush here. So let's see how Protoss will respond to that.
Yeah, it seems like the pool does come online, and did I miss my timings there that the hatchery was first, but seems like with the pool first instead, already going for the extractor as well, and the Zerg is going to get metabolic boost in just a bit as soon as it starts on up. But for ViRaOne's side, he's looking pretty good to bring those Zerg to the forefront, and he will try to go for another base. No, it's actually a lair here for Mr. Zerg on the blue hand side, potentially Roaches, Ravagers. What do you think here, Raigeki?
I think it's very bold that he's actually spending those resources on that. I'm not sure what he's really prioritizing on, but for me, I would start spreading creep as soon as possible.
Yeah, it seems like not too many queens. There's only going to be one there onto the main base, and he's using that for larva injects. But Shade right now going to get a little bit of scouts. And that's really vital information here for Fiery, because he sees that a lair is coming very, very early, but he doesn't see anything else. Is he going to be worried for 3 base muta play? Is it going to be that case? No, it seems like the Roach Warren going to be into the front lines instead. And how will Fiery respond? A Warp Gate research going to be absolutely essential, and in terms of workers, it seems like a Protoss coming on ahead.
Yeah, ViRaOne is actually doing pretty slow in my opinion, but for me, if I were Fiery, I would use this opportunity to actually get in with a little harass.
That's true, that's true. It really is just all about looking to get things done here, but for the Protoss, it really is just gonna be time to try and play a little more standard instead. So we are gonna get the Oracle opening here, and now gonna be very effective at getting some harassment, especially onto the worker lines. But in the meantime, that's a pretty good surround onto the Adept, but at the same time, just not enough of the micro here from ViRaOne. He's trying to bring in those Zerglings, but he decides to use the workers instead. A little bit of panic there setting in, and that hurts the economy of the Zerg even more. 18 worker lead right now for Fiery, and in terms of macro, well, this is looking really good for the Protoss so far.
Yeah, I think that Adept was able to get its worth, killing off 5 drones, if I'm not mistaken.
It's like so many, honestly. It's like a little more than that, more than a handful. But as I say that, it's the Oracle able to swoop on in instead. And you say that's a handful, that's another handful right there. 6 more drones going down. And this is just such a stifling blow already onto ViRaOne. He wanted to play the aggression with the roaches, but he's the one beaten on back with Fiery and everything else he wants to do. And now we do see a little more defenses here for Fiery, but honestly, with just such a big lead right now, it seems like our Protoss can come out ahead with all the tech in the world. Charizard's gonna be coming online, double Oracles gonna be into play, but seems like since one of them did fall, it's just another wave to set on in onto that main base. Anyway, still, we got Oracle flying on around onto the west side already, patrolling as much as possible. And well, Warp Prism gonna be next on the list as well. So it's pretty standard here for Fiery. He knows his build orders, he knows exactly what to do in terms of the harassments. And well, this can be a good transition into a few Immortals as well as the Zealots. But no, it's gonna be Zealot Archon composition here for Fiery, as he is going to go for the Templar Archives. Really interesting to see. You know, the Templar Archives, guys, doesn't unlock the DT with it. It needs another structure, and I feel like I'm just really trying to phase myself back in. Like, I remember the first broadcast of Brood War League, I was like, I don't know this matchup. I'm just like, I had to really find my footing, but it seems like it's the same case. We are on our first matchup, and well, we got Raigeki here breaking it down bit by bit as well to help things out. And what do you think about this? It's Aspire onto base. Will ViRaOne have the economy to really sustain the Mutalisk army?
ViRaOne's economy is pretty stable in my opinion. We can see he's getting a really good army composition here. And as for Fiery, I think his priority is just, you know, trying to break economy of ViRaOne, which is so far has been successful.
Yeah, it's just all about harassment, and honestly, the Protoss having almost doubled their good transition onto those probes. High Templar now gonna get warped on in. They only have feedback, no Psionic Storm, and it seems like it is gonna be the Archons. Very simple composition, especially for people who don't want to play Storms. This is like, let's make Archons. They're really cool, they have splash damage, that should work, right? That should be enough. And I like these Archons, honestly, because it is gonna be very effective if the Mutalisks do turn into a ball. But speaking of the ball, where will it come from? Because ViRaOne has only 400 minerals right now and 600 gas. It will take a long while to get a good count of Mutas into the field. But as I say that, we got the Revelation onto the natural to get the scouts onto that Roach Warren. Beyond all that, it's still up to ViRaOne to try and get his macro back. He's droning really heavily. Will give an opportunity here for Fiery to get even more and more of these units. And it's really just bases secured by our pink Protoss.
What do you think, Dax? I think about now ViRaOne should be expanding in his third base, but it looks like his army composition is pretty good. So
yeah, it's just really all about for ViRaOne. He needs to be secure enough to really go for that third. He knows his opponent has been turtling in behind, so he has to expect something is amiss or something strong is coming his way. So he's slowly but surely creeping on forward. He wants to make sure that he does have that speed boost advantage just to have transition from one side to the other. But as we say that, 1 Corruptor, 6 Mutas. Interesting comps here for ViRaOne, because he's having is it really the best of both worlds when it feels like you're only going for a sample platter here on the Zerg Swarm?
well, he's going for the Corruptor now, so I think this might go into the late game. I think.
Maybe, just maybe, because Fiery doesn't really want to attack. He wants to secure a huge advantage, and he is just keeping up with being advanced on the bases, and well, 3 base Protoss against 2 base Zerg is looking a little difficult here for ViRaOne, but the odds being against the Zerg, gonna be looking to try and find a way out. But Ionic Storm gonna be coming online as well, pretty safe option here for Fiery after seeing the Spire expose those mutants in the first place, and a lot of gateways here. And now, how many does this guy have just on this base? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 gateways. That's a lot of production here for Fiery to begin with.
I think we're expecting a big clash here, Dax.
Yeah, that's true. It has to be a big one, because where we're gonna get skirmishes with a 200 army, but I feel like for Fiery, as soon as he's confident enough to come on out, he should be really good to go to destroy anything ViRaOne has, hopes and dreams and all the like. And shout out to Fiery, because he's playing right now on mobile data, as Mr. Mizzle has been able to point on out. And he's been playing StarCraft 2 for around 2 years already, but not as much as many of our hardcore players. Just, play it on and off, get to Diamond League casually. It's pretty impressive, honestly, for our Pink Protoss. Anyway, still Phoenix, Morals, Archons, gonna be pretty interesting comps here from both sides. Like, this is what I noticed here, Mr. Raigeki, because it really feels like both sides are going for a sample platter of anything they can really build. And for Fiery, since he did have the core of the Zealots and the Archons, well, he does have a pretty good base there, but he does complement it with Sentries, Immortals, as well as Stalkers, everything along. You can build whatever the hell you want, because you have such a big lead. And here goes the push into the middle of the map. Fiery just taking care of anything straggling along. And honestly, if this is a pretty even clash, with Fiery having ×2 on the army counts, this is not gonna look good for the Zerg whatsoever.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see an all-you-can-eat buffet here for the Protoss.
Yes, what's your favorite all-you-can-eat buffet, right, Geki? I have a contact way back when who works in Sambokujin, so I usually end up there. I do, that's a pretty fine place. How about you?
Good question. I think just Neo by Vikings.
Maybe Vikings is a pretty good one, but you know what else is going to be the battle here onto the main base, already going for the damage immediately. Still, the Muta's going to be in position. Here comes the Archons in the way. Psionic Storm right now tearing everything apart. And with the bigger army, it's pretty obvious who's going to be able to take this one. The Pink Protoss at the lead at the very start. GG is called, and victory going to go over to Mr. Fiery. Seems like the rank advantage making a difference there, and that is going to be a victory for our Protoss player.
Yeah, good job by Fiery. He was
Yes.
able to,
Macro up, get the harass, job done, we are good to go. That's pretty much it. Well played by Mr. Fiery, really getting things done on that regard, and kudos, honestly, to the Pink Protoss from the very start, really in the lead. And if you guys just noticed, it was a very subtle game, but the big advantage Fiery really had was the fact that he was just ahead in terms of macro from the very start. It wasn't even about harassment. Like, at the opening, you can see he has a more refined build order, and he was just able to capitalize from there. What do you think there, Mr. Raigeki? What was up with that match?
I think for the Zerg, I think it would have been a big game changer if he stuck with like Banelings and Ravagers, macro that, and yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's pretty much that. It's just pretty much that. It really felt like it's just one of those games where everything is just warming up. You gotta preheat the oven to get the spiciest of all content, and I feel like the tournament is only getting started. But ViRaOne needs to wake up, or he's gonna be out immediately, because Fiery taking that one by a pretty hefty margin, and well, the Protoss really getting things done there. But let's confirm real quick on our map sheets, as we do get Everdream now taken over by the Protoss. Fiery with the victory there. Zen LE gonna be next on the list. It's a very interesting map pool, because we usually get the maps that are picked banned out, and we see, Zen LE and Purity and Industry on this map bracket, which is very, very intriguing for me. What do you think about, Zen right now coming into this second map?
Well, Zen is pretty tricky actually. You can see the main base, like there's a mineral wall there, right? So there's gonna be a lot of sneaky play here, I think.
Maybe, just maybe, it really is just gonna be all about getting into the front line in the first place. And well, we are just gonna be looking to wait out for Fiery to come back into the game. But let's just talk about our players yet again, ladies and gentlemen. Big shout out to ViRaOne, as we said before, participated last week in Brood War League, and he's been playing StarCraft 2 for quite a while already, all the way since Wings of Liberty, and he does come back from time to time on and off. Recently though, seeing the resurgence of the PH community, so he came back to StarCraft 2 like a week ago, maybe after the Brood War League, and he is trying to find his footing yet again in the pond that is the quarantine tournament. But how about you, Raigeki? How do you find out about the quarantine tournament?
Well, being part of the StarCraft PH group, I just saw it randomly, and then I said, "What the hell? Let's try it out." And I guess it's a good assessment of your current skill as a player.
That's true, guys. And if you do want to see a little more from our two co-casters, okay, I missed Stalecookie already. Raigekisai's just like, no, I got this, babe. I got this. I'm good. I can bring in the analysis. But just type in !casters and you can open up their socials. They have their Instagrams. You guys want to follow them up to see, a little bit of photography here and there. I opened it recently and I see a lot of cat pictures, and I like he a lot. So well, that's it. It's still gonna be anyone's game. Fiery though with the advantage with the one map ahead, as well as the fact he does have that MMR all the way up on the diamond scale. And usually, of course, the best of the best are the ones on the higher ranks. It is just, it is just a very easy way to call it, and it has been shown that here in the quarantine tournament that it usually is the higher ranks that do make it at the tail end of the tourney. But please don't. I'd love to see more and more of you guys, because the upset can always happen, and maybe, just maybe, ViRaOne can do it. But seems like our players are ready to go, and we are too. Let's get into Zen LE. Fiery versus ViRaOne. Gonna be another point of attack. And I feel like for Fiery, he can just do the same thing, right? He was able to get some really good micro with the Adepts and the Oracles. And what do you think about the harassment there from Fiery, Mr. Raigeki, as we are moving on into game number 2?
It was actually pretty good laid out. He was able to scout. He was able to see everything that's going on, and I think that is the one that's lacking with ViRaOne. Just a little bit more scouting, just to know what's going on with the Protoss base.
Yeah, I feel like that's true, because ViRaOne just let it happen. It's just like, I don't know there's a Oracle, I don't know if the Adept's gonna be there. And since he did get a few Zerglings at the very start, that could have been a pretty good way to go about things. But hey, that's pretty much how the cookie crumbles sometimes. But let's get into our second map. It's gonna be Zen LE for map number 2. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, into game number 2. Protoss versus Zerg yet again, and well, it's time for a little bit of tranquility here on Zen LE. Introducing first, on the top right now, he's already on the ropes. He's trying to get things done. He's looking to find a victory here in the quarantine tournament. It's our blue Zerg, ViRaOne. And his opponent, on the bottom left, again, a good indicator of the heat that is going on right now here in the Philippines. It's absolutely hot, but he's gonna make it hotter. It's a pink Protoss of Fiery. And yes, Zen LE, and we already see the initial wall being set up by the Protoss. Seems like we do get a little bit of a lag spike there, and well, everything should be a-okay. But a natural wall very early here for Fiery. What do you think about this one, Mr. Raigeki?
I think for this one, it just comes down to who can spot whatever it is that needs to be spotted, so that they're gonna be ready. As for ViRaOne, I would send out more scouting using those overlords. I'm pretty sure both of them knows their skills by now, so
Yeah, he realizes that, and he is going to be sending out that Overlord to begin with. In the meantime, Queen going to be in production. And we do see a pool first yet again, but no hatchery whatsoever. It might be a pool rush right now from ViRaOne. He's going for Metabolic Boost almost immediately. But the thing to note, actually, for our Zerg player is he does not have any Zerglings in production. Does he have any Zerglings to begin with? Yes, he does, sending them over onto natural already. Good scouting there, but the Protoss Zealot gets in the way. And Fiery plugging in those holes pretty much instantaneously. Good call there from the pink Protoss.
I think Fiery was already anticipating that one, but a good progress with ViRaOne with that rush.
Yeah, and just for ViRaOne, at least he's doing something a little more proactive. And the Zerglings are now going to be running on away, but the Zealots in front, they're just going to be like, we are the bouncers, you are under 18, you're not going to be able to get there. Oh, the ViRaOne's drone gets through! How did that even happen? The collision allowing a little bit of that mobility, but here on ZLE, you do have those mineral fields that do get in the way, and now only one Zergling piling onto the pylon. And this is not going to happen. ViRaOne is trying his best to really send in a number of Zerglings, but honestly, it really is a big risky play. He is going to go for the Baneling Nest though, wants to go for the Baneling Bust, and honestly for Fiery, all he needs to do right now is react properly and he should be good to go.
This is gonna be a huge gamble for the Zerg.
Honestly, his life is completely dependent on it. His life in the tournament is on a knife's edge, but Fiery, forgetting about his timings, and he does get supply block just a little bit. Seems like he was expecting that Nexus to come online a little earlier, but here comes Banelings right now being morphed on and onto the side. Is the Protoss player actually aware of it? Seems like it's not the case. Good call there from ViRaOne, and here comes the Banelings trying to get into the front line, and yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Oh, they move out, and ViRaOne gonna be able to try and get the push on, but Adept is in position instead to get in behind. Warp Gate is not ready, so a Chrono Boost onto the Adept gonna be there. One of the gateways will go down very soon, and this might be an opening here for ViRaOne, trying to get the push onto that main base, onto the natural as well. The Adept's no range units right there, getting in the way. Psionic transfer right now, and ViRaOne cannot decide what he wants to go on. Eventually, we shut down the Adept, but it seems like for Fiery, he can be able to hold. There is a little bit of scouting. ViRaOne seeing Twilight Cancel, seeing this mineral line. But overall, I feel like it is just going to be the Protoss clogging that hole yet again like a plumber. And he should be good to go for the rest of the game. Yeah, not the best bust. Like, it was some good stuff, especially breaking down the gateway. I like the pokes there. Really getting shut down. Oh no, that's very dangerous though. Oh my god. Fiery. If you really leave this open, if ViRaOne sends in more of those Zerglings, you might get punished for it. Because here comes another wave, Raigeki. Do you think it's the right call here for ViRaOne?
I'm a bit of 50-50 on this because we can see a huge gap in macro. Sure, he's sending a lot of Zerglings, but I think it will come down to, like, since he hasn't expanded yet, so I think Protoss is gonna get the upper hand in the late game.
Yeah, Protoss having to base, but the Banelings gets in the way again, and they do get some damage there, but the Warp Gate is already online, and I like how Fiery has built up some Warp Gates in behind all of this. He is ready to go to get a few Warp Cycles here and there, and the Adepts are always for the cleanup. Since the range units, very easy for them to move on around, especially against these Zerglings. But well, for ViRaOne, he's staying on one base. Macro, it seems like not gonna be his suit whatsoever. Fiery ×2 on the workers, but here comes more and more of the links. And for Fiery, all he has to do right now is not panic. He has to find a way to really shut things down. He doesn't need to overextend, that's for sure, as we get a bajillion things there from, I don't know, from Mr. Mizzle or something like that. But speaking of bajillions, a good number of Adepts here, 5 of them, a handful ready to defend, but another wave of Banelings into position. It feels like we're watching tower defense over a real game of StarCraft. Psionic transfer though, gonna try to get the Adepts away with the shades. 2 of the Adepts already going down, and it's a poke frenzy here from both ViRaOne and Fiery, but honestly, it's still the Protoss staying ahead.
I actually like what ViRaOne is doing right here. As long as he can just continuously send in more and more Zerglings, I think he's up for a good game.
Yeah, it's really just about the aggression that they can bring to the table. Baneling's still going to be on the left-hand side yet again. But honestly, if everyone is going to be doing the same trick over and over again with Fiery getting more and more of these Adepts in the way, it really isn't going to pan out here for our Blue Zerg whatsoever. He's not even producing anything anymore. He's just chilling with Lara, finally going to go for a second hatchery onto his natural. But honestly, with an Archon coming the way of Fiery, it's the perfect unit to really be in the front line. 350 HP in terms of that shields, plus 10, 360 in total. Very tanky against those Banelings trying to get a bust on.
I think we're about to see a turnaround in this game right now, Daks.
I think it really is just like, this game feels like you're a traffic enforcer, and then you're just trying to make sure that all of the cars that aren't following the orders of the road, that they come back and they figure things out, and it seems like Fiery has finally gotten the fast lane to himself, as ViRaOne has slowed things down. He does have still a good number of Zerglings, that's like 16 of them waiting on the natural, and at the same time Overlord gonna get a scout. The Sentry will try and shut things down, and Zealot Archons, apparently another way to go about things. Fiery going for the same composition yet again. Anyway, you know, it just feels like it's a slower version of that first game, and well, for ViRaOne, he is going to try to get that Lair Tech on. He does want to get that Gilroy Constitution to make those roaches a lot faster, but honestly, it seems like it's a little bit of deja vu, and I have seen this space before. And speaking of space, the Archons can get on the way. You can kill the rocks, you can kill, maybe you can get the minerals there. You have to decide though, Fiery, your Archons are dancing. Man, have you seen a disco ball, Mr. Raigekisai?
Yes.
Yeah, that's two of them. That's two of them right there. I think I heard Stale laugh in the background. I hope you guys are enjoying your food as well. And on the third base, like, the philosophy for Fiery, it feels like he wants to always be playing it safe. He wants to go for a third base before he actually puts in the aggression. He knows he has the lead, and all he needs to do now is keep the macro on to keep things up. But honestly, if he doesn't play any kind of a harass, a better player might be able to notice that, get more hatcheries instead, and give the Zerg the lead back. What do you think? Is this, you know, is this a case of being a little too lax here for our Pink Protoss?
I think they just both want to be sure that, you know, they have enough units to go in a clash. You know, just better be prepared for something big.
Yeah, it's like when you want to do your Christmas shopping really early, and even though you already have all your gifts, you're still worrying about if they're gonna like it or not. But you know, I'm gonna like what Fiery's gonna bring to the table, because ViRaOne, half on the workers, half on the army. Here we go yet again. It's the same kind of screenshot. It feels like we're just watching the same match on a different map. But ViRaOne did try to make it exciting with the early aggression. Very different from what he did early on by just letting things happen and just getting overrun there. At least he tried to do something. At least he tried to get the intel, and he did so all the way with some really good bailing busts. But if you do the same thing over and over again, and with your opponent having the tech as well as the economic advantage, well, that just makes the biggest difference of them all. Only 5 worker kills, honestly, with all the Zerglings running on in. Here comes the expansion right now of the Pink Protoss, pushing on forward just a little more. And it seems like this is ViRaOne's to win unless something big happens. It's Fiery's to win, rather, unless something big happens to ViRaOne.
That is right. You know, I still cannot predict like what the Zerg is planning here, but as we can see right now, Protoss is gonna demolish the Zerg.
A move for victory. My favorite is F2, A left click, close your eyes, wait for GG. That's how you win games, guys. That's how you win games. Hallucinated Phoenix, and we'll get the scouts, and this is just Fiery like, okay, my opponent has nothing. Honestly, my opponent has absolutely nothing. ViRaOne reacting to the hallucinated Phoenixes with a Spore Crawler. Very interesting. Very interesting, because there's no star, you know, there's no star game whatsoever, but hey, you know, it is what it is. And now it's time for a little more of those drones. We have seen this before from ViRaOne, and it might be something that he will need to work on into the future. He is basically putting himself in situations where he has to over-drone because he wants to keep up on the economic tab. And, well, if you're using all those eggs for drones, then what are you gonna do when this army is coming for you? Now, he has to use the next cycle of eggs for overlords, and this is the last stand in the Alamo right here. This is just everything ViRaOne has.
We're about to see something big here.
We're about to see absolute demolition. Like, honestly, it's time. Fiery, give me control. I will press 3 buttons for you. F2, A, left click. And let's go. Here we go. He doesn't even need to go for side storm. He doesn't need to do anything else. He can target the eggs for all I care, and he might still be able to win. But here comes the cascade on into the funnel immediately. Seems like it's a little bit of a warp in action as well. Well, GG Lamau indeed, because Fiery with the macro game strong, and he will take the series 2-0. Good attack there as well, making sure that he has both of the angles. And look at the Protoss army just demolish everything into the front line.
Good play, good improvement for ViRaOne from the first match.
Yeah, I love it. I love that we have seen a little bit of improvement there from ViRaOne, but there still needs to be just a little more, because facing off against someone like Fiery, who pretty much knows what he's exactly doing, well, it's just not gonna fly. If you're gonna go on one base Zerg and you keep going for the Baneling bust, when you see your opponent not only has Warp Gate as well as Adepts already in position, it's just a little too difficult. If those were Zealots, then sure, you could have stayed on. If those are Stalkers, it could have still worked because the Stalkers might not be able to get enough damage in the first place, but the Adepts, of course, with those glaives, very strong against light units, and it really was just Fiery doing the same old thing, Zealots and Archons, a pretty effective way to win things out. And well done there to Fiery. He moves on to round number 2, where pretty much everyone else is waiting for the rest of the results of round number 1 to finish on up. But hey, how does it feel, Raigeki? How does it feel to actually commentate on the action, especially just giving in some tidbits here and there?
Well, honestly, there are a lot of times where I get like mental blocked because it's in my head. I just don't know how to say it. It's
Yeah, you know, it's
so
the
nerve
stage fright.
wracking.
It's just like, oh, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. But honestly, a very, very subtle game there. That subtle match. As soon as we already saw the Baneling Bus not really get enough value, you could already see the cards were on the table, and it was just Fiery doing the same old thing. It's just like a sequel bait that ends up having the same exact plot, but you have a little more budget to get a prettier map. But hey, that is a victory there for Fiery. Let's confirm that real quick on our best of 3 screen. And there you go, Fiery taking 2 of those battles already. Purity and Industry not gonna be even played whatsoever. Because at the best of 3, all you need is 2 to take that victory. And well done there to our Protoss player. He moves on. Kudos to ViRaOne. Big shoutouts to him. Being featured twice already on stream, once from last week, once this week. And much love to him. Hope to see him in a number of future tournaments. And speaking of tournaments, Raigeki, did you join the last quarantine tournament?
Yes, I did, and I lost horribly.
No, don't worry about it. Did we stream your game? Like I
Yes, you
think.
did.
Oh yeah, we
I was
did.
against Supermalls, I think.
Ah yes, SM Supermalls versus the first ever forbidden card in Yu-Gi-Oh. So that's pretty much, that's a matchup to remember. But you know what else is gonna be a good remembrance, guys? Is our sponsors for the SCPH Quarantine Tournament. Big shoutouts, of course, to AKG Games supporting yet again our StarCraft 2 endeavors. We were like, we put this forward, and they were like, sure, let's go for it. And they have been very, very supportive at matching the prize pool and the like, really setting things up, helping us out in many, many regards. So shoutouts to them. You can check them out on Facebook as well as Instagram on akggames.ph. Community sponsors, you got the LS Mizzle, and we've actually put his site on this time. If you want to see his portfolio, check out dlsmizzle.com. And if you know him, just PM him. He might be able to help you out in a number of graphics as well as, stream packages and the like. I know Mr. Mizzle here is basically using me as practice to be able to give this kind of content to many other people. And I thank you for that. I also feel like, Mizzle, why you gotta use me like this, man? Why you gotta use me like this? But all jokes aside, he's been very, very helpful, and he's honestly been instrumental at really getting this quarantine tournament thing going on for the SC2 scene. And you guys are here at twitch.tv/SCPH. Check me out also at facebook.com/DaksCast. And this has been our first match of the day. We have a lot more coming. Raigeki, though, before we take a little break for our upcoming round number 2, just give me like one sentence to summarize that whole match.
Well, I see a lot of potential with ViRaOne actually, especially in the second match. I guess he just needs to work on in his macro, especially with his growing his economy. I love how he was able to just come in with Zerglings and Banelings with harassing, but sometimes the economy gets left behind, and I think there's a lot of room for improvement. And I commend him for at least trying and actually showing improvement over the course of 2 games.
Yeah, and well, I love that at least he learned from the first game. And if he keeps it up, well, we might get a better performance in the quarantine tournament. In the meantime, I'd love to see a little more there from Fiery, but this has been your first match of SCPH Quarantine Tournament, round number 2. Gonna be coming your way very, very soon. Stick around, though. We'll be right back.